Hello friends, welcome to Finance MCQ channel. I am CMA Akula Sridhar, and friends, in this series of videos we are trying to cover your technical syllabus, that is paper 2 of general syllabus. And friends, in coming lectures we will cover chapter 8 of Companies Act 2013, which deals with declaration and payment of dividend. Friends, this technical syllabus includes subjects such as costing, then commerce and accountancy, management, finance, Companies Act and economics. And friends, this technical syllabus is very important for your selection as it covers 100 marks in phase 1 and is also having 2/3 weightage in phase 2 of your SEBI grade A officer exam. So let's begin. So friends, the first thing which comes into our mind is what is dividend. So friends, section 2 subsection 35 of Companies Act gives the definition of dividend, which simply states that dividend includes any interim dividend. So what is interim dividend? We'll see in the next slide. So friends, remember that a dividend is a payment made by the company to its shareholders out of the profits earned and payable yearly or whenever declared, and not retained by the company in the form of retained earnings. Like for example friends, if in a financial year the company has earned 1 crore rupees profits and it is proposing to pay 10% in the form of dividend. So friends, in that year the company will pay dividend of rupees 10 lakhs, and the remaining 90 lakhs it will set aside in the form of retained earnings. Moving on friends, let's study the various types of dividend now. So friends, there are two types of dividend. First is final dividend. So friends, when a dividend is declared at the AGM of the company, it is known as final dividend. So friends, here it is proposed by the board of directors, but it has to be approved by shareholders. And friends, final dividend can be declared only after the accounts are prepared and when the profit is already ascertained. And friends, final dividend once declared cannot be cancelled and it will become a debt due from the company. So friends, even there are penal provisions when the company has declared final dividend and it is not paying the amount within the due date. And moving on, next type of dividend is interim dividend. So friends, this we have seen in the definition also. So friends, when the board of directors declare dividend between two AGMs of the company, such dividend is called as interim dividend. So friends, here interim dividend is proposed and approved by the board of directors. And friends, interim dividend is declared before the preparation of final accounts. And friends, interim dividend once declared shall not become a debt due from the company, and directors are empowered to cancel it. So friends, here we can see four major differences between final dividend and interim dividend. The first difference was that final dividend is paid at the time of AGM, while interim dividend is paid between two AGMs. The second point of difference is that final dividend is proposed by the board of directors and approved by shareholders, while in case of interim dividend it is both proposed and approved by board of directors. Friends, the third point of difference is that final dividend can be declared only after the accounts are prepared, but in case of interim dividend it can be declared even before the preparation of final accounts. And friends, the fourth point of difference is that the final dividend once declared cannot be cancelled, while in case of interim dividend it can be cancelled by the directors. Moving on, let's study the entitlement of dividend to various class of shareholders. So friends, we know that shareholders are divided into two types. First is preference shareholders and the other is equity shareholders. And friends, even preference shareholders were divided into cumulative preference shareholders and non-cumulative preference shareholders. So first study the entitlement of dividend with reference to cumulative preference shareholders. So friends, we know that preference shareholders carries dividend rights at fixed rate. So friends, in case of cumulative preference shareholders, they are payable even out of future profits if the current year profits are insufficient for the purpose. So friends, this means that dividend on these shares are accumulated unless it is paid in full. Next type of preference share, as we know, is that non-cumulative preference share. So friends, a non-cumulative preference share carries with it the right of fixed amount of dividend as in case of cumulative preference share. But friends, in this case, if suppose in any financial year the company is not able to declare any dividend due to some reason, so friends, for that financial year the right to receive such dividend for that year expires. So friends, here the dividends are non-cumulative in nature, so that implies that the holder of such share is not entitled to any arrears of dividend in future. Next was equity shareholders. So friends, equity shareholders do not enjoy any preferential rights in the matter of payment of dividend or repayment of capital. Friends, here the rate of dividend of the equity share is not fixed and it is recommended by the board of directors and may vary from year to year. Friends, here the rate of dividend depends upon the dividend policy of the company and the availability of profits, and first the dividend will be paid to preference shareholders and equity shareholders are paid dividend out of the leftover of the profits of the company after satisfying the rights of preference shareholders. Now friends, let's study the various sources of dividend as given under section 123 of Companies Act 2013. So friends, the company can pay dividend out of its current year's profit. Friends, the company can also pay dividend out of the undistributed or accumulated profits of previous year. Like for example friends, if you have losses in the current financial years but you have sufficient profits of previous year and you have transferred some part of the profits to reserves, so even that can be a source of payment of dividend. And friends, the third source is that out of the money given by central government or state government for the payment of dividend by the company in pursuance of a guarantee given by the government. So friends, in case of some government companies, the government can give a guarantee that if the company is not paying dividend, the government will disburse dividend. So friends, in that case, the government will allot funds to the company for the payment of dividend. So friends, here remember that before payment of the dividend, the company will have to first set off previous year losses and depreciation, and dividend can be paid out of the profit out of the remaining profit that is left after such set off. Moving on, let's study the provisions related to transfer of shares. So friends, a company may before the declaration of any dividend in any financial year transfer such percentage of its profit for that financial year as it may consider appropriate to the reserves of the company. So friends, earlier Companies Act 1956 imposed burden to transfer certain fixed percentage of profit to reserves before declaration of dividend in any financial year. After introduction of Companies Act 2013, it has quite liberal provisions with regard to transfer. Now friends, such transfer is not mandatory and the percentage to be transferred to reserve is to be decided by the directors of the company. Moving on. Now friends, what will happen if there are inadequate or no profits in any financial year and it is proposing to declare dividend? So friends, in that case, the company can pay dividend out of its previous year profits where the part of the profit has been transferred to the reserves. And friends, here the company will have to follow the provisions related to Rule 3 of Companies Declaration and Payment of Dividend Rules 2014. And what does Rule 3 says? So friends, Rule 3 prescribes certain conditions which the company will have to follow if it want to pay dividend out of its free reserves. And friends, we have studied that free reserves is created out of the transfer of previous year profits. So what are the conditions? Let's study them. So friends, the first condition is that the rate of dividend declared shall not exceed the average of the rates which the dividend was declared by it in the 3 years immediately preceding that year. Like for example friends, suppose the rate of dividend declared during last 3 financial year is 12%, 10% and 8%. So friends, here the average will be 10%. So friends, the company is not allowed to pay dividend exceeding 10%. Next condition is that friends, the total amount to be drawn from such accumulated profit shall not exceed 1/10 of the sum of its paid up share capital and free reserves as appearing in the latest audited financial statement. So friends, here they have put condition on the amount that the company can withdraw for the purpose of payment of dividend. Like for example friends, suppose the company has paid up capital of rupees 100 crores and reserves of rupees 40 crores. So total comes to 140 crores. So friends, so the maximum amount that the company can withdraw for the purpose of payment of dividend as per Rule 3 is 10%. That is, maximum the company can pay is 14 crores. Friends, next condition is that the amount so drawn shall first be utilized to set off the losses incurred in the financial year in which the dividend is declared before any dividend in respect of equity shares is declared. So friends, as we have studied that before payment of any dividend out of the previous year profit, the first company will have to first adjust the losses incurred in current financial year. Friends, the fourth condition stipulates that the balance of reserves after such withdrawal shall not fall below 15% of its paid up share capital as appearing in the latest audited financial statement. So friends, in the previous example, we have seen that the company's, for example, its paid up share capital is 100 crores, its reserves is 40 crores, total comes to 140 crores, and the company has declared 10% dividend, that is 14 crores. So friends, the leftover reserves after payment of dividend will be 26 crores, that is 26% of paid up share capital. So friends, in this case would be okay. Now friends, let's study the other provisions related to payment of dividend. So friends, remember that dividend should be declared at the AGM on the recommendation of the board by passing an ordinary resolution. So friends, if suppose a question comes into your exam like asking which type of resolution is passed for the payment of dividend, then you should know that a company will have to pass an ordinary resolution at AGM for payment of dividend. Next friends, the company shall not declare dividend exceeding the rate recommended by the board. So friends, suppose the board has recommended a rate of 15% for payment of dividend. So friends, the company can reduce it below 15%, but in no case the company can approve payment of dividend beyond 15%. That is the rate recommended by the board. And friends, remember that the dividend must be paid within 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend. And friends, calls in arrears or other sum due from a member may be adjusted against the dividend payable to the member. And friends, further remember that the company shall not issue any bonus shares in lieu of dividend. And friends, dividend shall not be declared by the company if it fails to comply with the provisions of section 73 and section 74. So friends, remember that section 73 and section 74 relates to the failure of a company to repay public deposits, and such failure continues till date. Moving on, now friends, let's study the provisions related to payment of interim dividend. So friends, we have studied that interim dividend is paid between two AGM. So friends, here the board of directors of a company may declare interim dividend during any financial year. So friends, we have seen in the definition of interim dividend that here it is recommended and approved by board of directors themselves. So friends, here the sources of interim dividend will be out of the surplus in the profit and loss account of the financial year. And friends, here the further source will be out of the profit generated in the financial year till the quarter preceding the date of declaration of dividend. Like for example, suppose friends, if the company declares interim dividend in January 2021. So friends, here the source of payment of this interim dividend will be the profit generated up to the preceding quarter, that is December 2020. And friends, further, if suppose the company has incurred any loss during the current financial year up to the end of the quarter immediately preceding the date of declaration of interim dividend, so friends, in that case the maximum dividend that can be paid will be the average dividends declared by the company during the immediately 3 financial years. So friends, this provision is quite similar to the payment of dividend provisions with reference to payment of final dividend. So friends, in today's video we have studied what is dividend, then we have studied various types of dividend, then we have studied the entitlement of dividend of different class of shareholders, then we have studied the various sources of dividend. Further friends, we studied rule 3 of companies declaration and payment of dividend rules 2014, which stipulates certain conditions when the company wants to pay dividend out of its previous year profits. And in the end we studied the provisions related to payment of interim dividend. So friends, in tomorrow's lecture also we'll continue with the same topic. Friends, for more practice of MCQs on this topic, please visit financemcq.in, where the entire SEBI grade exam technical syllabus is covered in MCQ format. Friends, here 2000 plus subject wise, topic wise MCQ questions are presented for you to practice. Friends, explanation are also added for correct answers wherever required. So friends, apart from this, there are 25 test series covering the technical syllabus for more and more practice. So friends, do visit financemcq.in and practice your technical syllabus well. And friends, don't forget that this technical syllabus is having 100 marks in phase 1 and is also having 2/3 weightage in phase 2 of your SEBI grade exam. So friends, this technical syllabus is very important for your selection. So friends, that's all for today. We will go through some more insight into the topic tomorrow. Till then, thank you very much for watching. Take care and goodbye. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe.